What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be giving you guys 5 tips that's going to help you kill more turkeys this spring. Now, none of these tips are in any particular order. These are things that we've found over the years, so we're going to have Hunter start out with the first one.
Alright, so we've noticed this throughout every time we've been turkey hunting from when we first started, is that you have to know the topography of the area that you're hunting and get to know the area you're hunting. And even if you've never been there, you can still get to know it pretty easily with the use of Onyx maps. You can see ridges, ditches, creeks, fence rows, pretty much everything that's going to stop a turkey from coming in. Because what's going to happen is if you don't know the topography and if you don't know the land, a lot of times you'll set up and you'll start calling a turkey, but there'll be a steep ditch or there'll be a fence, not even an extravagant fence, but just any fence. He's not going to cross it. I can tell you that much right now. His turkeys are hard enough to call in without anything in their way, and if something is in their way, like a ditch, even if it's not a big one, and especially if they have hens already or anything, any sort of reason that's going to make them not come in, they're going to hang up like pretty much 100% of the time. And it's gonna force you to do other things. So if you can avoid that and get on the ridge that they're on, or get somewhere where it'll be easy for them to get to, it'll up your odds.
It could be just as easy as like getting around this brush pile that you see right in front of you too.
Yep.
So the second tip is be mobile. Too many times I see people who are just turkey hunting, sitting in a blind and just sitting in the exact same spot every time they go out and they turkey hunt. I have never killed a bird in the same spot, and I've killed like a bunch of birds. I killed 4 birds last year in 1 year, and none of those birds were just sitting in the same spot. Although you can be successful hunting turkeys just sitting like you do a whitetail, I think too many people leave out chances of actually getting a turkey because, you know, we ran into on public land, those guys, when you shot your bird in Missouri public land, they were just sitting in one spot calling for hours on hours on hours. But, you know, if you're going to be the guy who's the mobile guy, you can get around those people, you can get to the bird because, you know, naturally hens go to the gobblers. So you got to kind of have to play that role there and just not get too, you know, set in stone in where you're going to sit. So I've learned that just running and gunning is not only, I feel like it's a more fun way to turkey hunt,
fun, yeah.
But it also just allows you more chances and opportunities to fill your tag.
And also, if you don't have birds roosted, you have to be mobile in the mornings. You have to be willing to just, when you hear that first gobble, or you can wait and like see what's out there, but you have to be willing to go to it and get on the birds and stay on them, even though we never really kill them off the roost, or rarely do we, but you have to know where they are. And if you don't know where they are and be mobile and commit and stay on them, it'll be a lot harder the rest of the day.
Right.
So that actually brings us into the third tip that we have. Really, it's a really good segue into it because we don't kill, like I said, we don't kill a lot of the turkeys right off the roost. Pretty much every single time that bird's going to have a destination that he wants to get to off the roost, or he's going to have hens and they're going to have a destination and he's just going to follow them. I hate to break it to you, but pretty much every time. Rarely do they fly right into your lap and you kill them. We've had a couple opportunities to do that, but not many. And so the third tip we have is to hunt every chance you get, stay on them, hunt midday. And you hear this one a lot, but those birds are almost always going to start talking when those hens leave them at 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, and there'll be a really good opportunity for you to kill them. I think that's probably my favorite time of the day to actually kill birds. But going back to the number 2 tip, if you're not mobile and if you're not on them and you don't know where they are at all, then you're stuck in the dark and you're just wandering around the woods midday. So you have to combine all these tips, but that's the third tip, is hunt every chance you get. Now, the 2 birds we killed last year in Nebraska were both midday hunts, and we had been literally chasing this guy for 2 miles. It was like 2-mile stretches. He was like a really far mover, and we just stayed on him all morning. I think I finally killed him at 2 p.m. Finally got him to commit to our calls.
Yep, because he gobbled again after he shut up for a while.
Right.
And that was just that quick little, all you need is a 10-15 minute time frame where a bird
susceptible.
Where a bird loses his hen. And usually if there's a big flock, you have hens coming and going in the flock as they please, but at some point eventually, you know, a lot of people like later season because they're more apt to leave more often. But even in the early season, there's you can watch a flock and you'll see a bunch of hens kind of coming and going as they please. But all you need is that 10 or 15 minute window or 5 minute window where the bird loses them and he goes, oh no, and then he hears you, and then at that point he's coming over. So that's all you kind of need to be successful there too. So that leads us into the fourth tip, which is get aggressive. Now I want to say that, but I don't want to say just run around the woods with your head cut off and do all sorts of crazy stuff, because that's not where I'm getting at with this. Where I'm getting at with it is get aggressive in the sense of being smart as well. So there's a lot of times where, a turkey, especially early season right now, a lot of the birds have hens and they're all just grouped up together in one flock, or there's one dominant bird with a bunch of hens. And what I've learned is if you can go in smartly, you're able to bump hens off from that turkey and that gobbler, and then you're the only one there who's going to be, the hen that he's going to come to. So I actually did this with one of my birds last year. I went in and I didn't know that this bird had hens, but he was gobbling every once in a while. And I was working in and I accidentally bumped this hen off, and it only turned out that he had one hen, and that was the one hen that was keeping him busy all morning. But I went in and I called that hen up to me while we were still moving in, and she kind of soft spooked. But where that hen was in relation to the gobbler and where I was here, that hen ran off to my left away from the gobbler, and at that point that put the gobbler in line with coming up to find this hen that he just watched go over the hill. So when I got aggressive and I was just getting that extra 20 to 30 yards when I had no idea those turkeys were there, I was able to just bump that hen off and just make it so I was in a perfect spot to kill that turkey. So I don't want to say just go out there and just flush a bunch of flocks up, but when the right opportunity presents itself, when you see you can bump a hen off, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. Or if you bump.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever intentionally try to do that, but it could present an opportunity where you could do that, and most of the time it's just going to happen on accident. And a lot of times, get aggressive, especially if you have nothing to lose.
Right.
And so that's,
you hear a bird gobbling too. Yeah. That's a good example of just getting aggressive and going after it too.
Yeah. And that's how we like to hunt. It's the most. I think it's the most fun way to hunt. And you're gonna have a lot of frustrations doing that, but you're also gonna have a lot of rewards.
Right.
So, I guess we can go into the fifth and final tip that we have for you today, is to not overcall. And I know for me personally, and what I've seen is that we've killed way more turkeys by shutting up and not calling, stop calling, than we have by just keeping them gobbling. I know it's really fun to hear them gobbling, and you just want to keep calling, keep having him hammer you. And if he's really, really talkative and it's really an intense scenario, you can get away with more calling. You definitely read the bird and match his intensity. But I always err on the side of calling less, because he knows exactly where you are, first of all, and he's going to pinpoint your location. And it seems like when you call less, they hang up less. And I don't know exactly why that is, but
I've learned that you can turn them on where they start gobbling. You can get them really receptive. Then you just shut up.
And then it seems like they just, I don't know, it lights a fire under them.
Yeah, they're like, why'd you stop talking to me?
They try to go find you. So eventually, usually, and even if they hang up, you can stop calling, and a lot of times they'll end up coming that extra way and looking for you. So you hear that one a lot, but it's a really good tip, and I think it was important to put in the video.
Right,
so.
Especially if you can get into overcalling situations, if you're calling at a bird and you can hear him gobbling, and you can tell, after 5 or 10 minutes, he's not coming any closer. He came closer, and he's just kind of strutting a ridge. If you can tell that he's doing that, don't even waste your time calling on. Like he said, it's cool to listen to him gobble and say, oh, he's at the closer point. Maybe he's coming in, but you're not gaining anything. So at that point, you can just get a little more aggressive and kind of track him to use his gobbling when he would gobble. Just kind of understand how he's doing it, and then either shut up and stay there, and there's a chance he can come in, or you get aggressive and you get closer to him, and then you call or don't call. With turkey hunting, obviously there's a lot of situational things, but with these tactics, I think it's going to really help a lot of people out in the woods this spring. And I'm really excited to get back out and turkey hunting. I know you are too.
Yep.
We're a week and a half away here in Iowa, and a lot of you guys in the South are already out hunting and making us jealous. So, yeah.
Yep.
With that, we're going to wrap up the video. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to see future content of us chasing those big old long beards again. And with that, thanks for watching.